What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more content here for you today. So we're going to kind of do something related to bolt action here, and that's take a look at Konflikt 47. So today we're going to look at the German Army starter set and take just a brief dip into Konflikt 47 just to show you guys what sort of getting started in the game looks like with a specific army set here, in this case, again, the Germans, and how basically, if you're already playing bolt action, this is just a fun extra sort of game that you can play, which will use a lot of the same concepts and things like that. So, and like that, very simple, they print on the box here exactly what you get. So, and it's really nice because you don't have to necessarily go and buy a separate rulebook or a separate two-player starter and get the rulebook there. Each of the army starters has a small format, the A5 softback rulebook, which is just great. In the case of the Germans here, we get one Spinne light Panzer mech, a Panzer IV-X medium tank. We'll see what that's all about. And again, as you can kind of imagine by the name of the game here, Konflikt 47, right? So this is kind of the weird war, as if things had continued with all kinds of crazy tech, right? We get 24 Grenadiers, which are essentially reused from regular bolt action German Grenadiers. 8 Totenkorb, though, pin markers, dice, and order dice. As if you're playing bolt action already, you are familiar with what order dice are. So let's crack this open here. We kind of already got part of the box moved here. So right at the top here, we're greeted with the rulebook, and looks pretty cool right off the bat here. So, and again, this will cover history of the conflict, what happened, essentially how the war in this setting went differently than what, the historical outcome, obviously, and then why there is all this crazy new technology. And as you can see from some of the pictures here, right, you got big badass mechs, but sort of 1940s era type technology and look to them with, again, some of these enhancements here. So, and pretty much all the factions have access to all these weird things. So, and it's pretty cool here too. Just in the fluff, we see a split with the Allies. So the Soviets kind of break off and are also at war. So basically, we have sort of three different polarities here. Germans running all kinds of zombies and SS vampires and all kinds of other silliness, but again, just really cool stuff here. So, and of course, rules, squadrons, or I shouldn't say squadrons, so force lists and unit lists and all the stats and all that stuff here. So more than enough to get you started with the game. Now, I know there's, I think, a couple of smaller expansions out there, since this game is a couple years old now, but well worth getting into. And again, if you're already familiar with bolt action and want something a little different, and you've played a lot of the campaign books, you don't necessarily want to start a whole new army for the regular war, or maybe you just have so many armies and you just want something new, period, check out Konflikt. And others who've maybe played similar games, I know Dust, of course, is the other big one that often comes to mind. But again, if you're already a fan of bolt action, this is a no-brainer, getting to reuse a lot of your models with, again, some of the new things here. So Warlord likes to include these summary sheets here, which also kind of serve to keep everything nice and organized in the box. So, and has kind of a ruler on the side, but really, if you're miniature gaming, you're going to get your own actual ruler, but I guess nice touch nonetheless. And typically what I do on these here, for me, I cut off all the side tabs and then just use the central sheet for those quick reference things. But anyway, always nice to have that. And then we get into the nitty gritty in here. So there's a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to spend time on some of these things, right? We all know what dice and order dice are. And again, if you're not coming in from bolt action previous experience, so activations are kind of done randomly, with each faction having one of these order dice per unit, and ideally a different color than your opponent, and then you kind of just alternate from choosing there. Warlord catalog, shameless plugs there. So, whole heap of plastic and metal bits here. So let's get this blister taken care of here, just because it's also kind of coming apart. So the Totenkorb here for the Germans, basically metal zombies. So those Germans getting up to all kinds of experiments here and basically creating undead troops from their fallen soldiers. So bits and pieces here for the spider mech, the light spider mech here, Spinne. So effectively like a little scout mech here, four-legged walker. Lots and lots of sprues here. We'll kind of make a little bit of space. So, again, nice thing here is if you already have a fair few of regular squads from whatever faction you're playing for bolt action, you're already going to have a sizable force. It's just how much of the other stuff do you want to incorporate. But nonetheless, you get several screws here. These are basically the German Grenadiers, as we're making a mess in the box here. So again, all kinds of bits for weapons, so you're not left wanting really with anything there, as we kind of try to organize a little bit as we dig deeper into the box. So again, we have that there. All kinds of bases, the plastic pin markers, always a nice touch there. More bases. A little decal sheet. The typical, I think, working with Warlord resin is going to be in here. You guessed it. Oops. So we got some things broken off here. Looks like some arms and maybe a piece for the Panzer. So we'll make sure we set those aside. At the very, very bottom, basically just building instructions that you get with your German Grenadier box that you normally buy separately. And this little thing here, we kind of one-hand this and get this open for you guys, and we'll take a look and see what's in here. So there, basically we get the turret for the crazy Panzer IV-X, I believe it is. So again, when we say weird weapons in this, you got like Tesla coils and other kinds of just wacky sci-fi stuff in here, but like still cool and kind of befitting a hypothetical extension of the conflict here if such technology was available. And then basically our standard sort of Panzer IV kit here, which really, again, pretty nice that it's essentially just reusing things directly from bolt action, but then here and there, depending on what we're dealing with for which faction, we're just adding on some things to differentiate it, and that's pretty cool. Like when all this tank really needs is that turret on here. Obviously, we got some cleanup work and stuff to do, but if that's all it takes to then make this wild variant, that's pretty neat, I think. So again, kind of bringing in here a little bit more detail, but basically the spider mech here. So you got some resin metal. So basically, it looks like the body and turret on this resin, and then legs and guns. I think it has like a little light autocannon and machine gun. But that basically takes care of the light mech for the Germans. So other factions, I know the U.S. has seemingly several different mechs, light and heavier and stuff like that. The Russians have some cool stuff as well. And kind of just showing off the back of the box here, give you guys an idea of what this really looks like here. So, if you get everything assembled, again, we got that awesome Panzer IV variant in the back there. The Spider mech, again, more of a scout walker. Plenty of regular troops here, and then essentially our repurposed German soldiers here as our undead here. So our Totenkorb, literally. So dead core, dead bodies. Kind of a play on words there a little bit with Körper for body in German. But anyway. So that is basically a full-on army starter. Again, I know there's U.S., Russian, Brit, and I think Japanese as well for this. So again, just anything you would probably typically immediately think of for sort of what if the war had continued, what if there was all this crazy technology developed, you'll find something like that in the game. So other things that we'll be looking at later on as we kind of build up a German force for this. So, you have guys in power armor for multiple factions, just crazier weaponry. The Germans, I think, also have some other undead, if I'm not mistaken, from just taking a brief glance at the range. I think Russians have something like werewolves or something like that as well. So just, again, all kinds of cool, weird, wild, crazy stuff here for Konflikt. And again, having already some familiarity with bolt action really just makes it pretty simple here just to jump into the game. You're going to find so much that you already know, and then it's just a matter of getting around to learning some of the differences in the game. And we'll have separate videos on all that for you guys as well as we kind of, again, work our way through this. And then start taking a look at other things in the game here. So again, quick little start here, good value. You get 2 vehicles, fair bit of infantry, so basically a whole Grenadier box, and then this unit of the zombie soldiers, plus the book and all the other little extras as well. One thing that would have been nice to see, just from some of the more recent box sets that Warlord and other companies put out with these starters, would be sort of giving you a sample sheet of your army here and what it's kind of designed to do in the game. So a sample army list with your point values and stuff, just to get you kind of started immediately playing out of the box, and maybe again, just like some more recent box sets, some starter scenarios or something to test this out with. So if you did that for every box, then if you're playing with multiple people in your group, you have almost a little mini campaign of basic scenarios to start trying out. Now, again, you can do this on your own with taking stuff from the book and simplifying it, but again, I feel like a little bit of extra stuff there in that department goes a long way as well for especially new players. And if you don't have the luxury of having a more experienced player get you into the game or something like that, that could have been a nice addition. But anyway, let us know your thoughts, guys. Do you play Conflict? Have you looked at it? Is there any interest for you if you're already playing Bolt Action? And for those who are playing, let us know what faction you're playing and why, what units you prefer, anything else you'd like to see for the game. I know it hasn't really gotten as much attention lately, with so many other games coming out and everything for Warlord that they're releasing, and Bolt Action obviously is going to take a lot of the attention there, but definitely I think one that deserves a little bit more attention. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. As always, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Check out the link in the description too if you want to support the channel. Anything you pick up from Warlord via that link will help support us. Appreciate everybody who does that, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.